Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music, and today I want to look at sort of a basic rule of harmonic motion. And that rule could be expressed this way: notes move down. Well, in tonic dominant relationships, that gives a very specific sound. But what if we want to have smooth sounding chord progressions that are more flexible than what tonic dominant relationships allow? Let's look at it today. I just want to give you a simple example of what I'm talking about. So that D minor 7 chord has a 7th and a 3rd, and the next chord in the sequence, G7, also has a 7th and a 3rd. The motion is for the 7th to drop down to the 3rd of the G7, right? Now, in like conventional harmony, our next chord in the sequence would be some sort of C major. And you can see that the 7th dropped down to the 3rd of C major. So overall, voices tend to move down. And there are numerous examples of this kind of thing. Good voice leading just tends to do that. I'll give you another example. Let's say just a simple circle of fifths. So A7, that's the 3rd and the 7th. D7, that's the 7th and the 3rd. G7, that's the 3rd and the 7th. C7, do you get it? Everything just keeps dropping by a half step. It's crazy, right? The 7th and the 3rd becomes the 3rd and the 7th, becomes the 7th and the 3rd. They keep swapping their roles as the circle of fifths progresses. That's what happens in conventional tonic dominant harmony. Now, I want to take advantage of my ears' intuition about voices moving down. So I'm going to create a chord progression, the voices of which move down, but which don't rely on these rules. D minor 7, D flat, major 7. Two voices moved down, two voices stayed in place. I'm going to continue. D flat major 7 is going to become C sus, watch, which is going to become C major 7, which is going to become C minor 7, which is going to become B major 7, which is going to become B flat sus, which is going to become B flat major 7. Can we see all that at once? Let's take a look at it. I guess we pretty much can. You can see the overall downward trend in these voices, can't you? Well, each voice in this instance dropped only by a half step. It's not going to sound beautiful, but let's listen to it as it moves. D minor 7, D flat major 7. The thirds are the same. And then I drop a couple of voices and I get C sus, and then that resolves to C major 7. C minor 7 by dropping a couple of voices. C and the C minor 7 here becomes B major 7 here. Two voices are the same, two voices change. It's a kind of a prepared dissonance solution. It's a suspension type of solution. It all works. And the suspensions, the sus chords especially, give us that energy. Here's that B major again. Becomes B flat sus, which resolves. Well, I could make a great loop out of this. And my one reservation about it is everything is going down and eventually I'll need a longer piano. Loops sound best harmonically when you voice them so that they do this, so that you sort of come back to the beginning. So I built one earlier when I was working, so let's just take a look at it. Here's that same chord progression sort of voiced and tricked out. I did a drop 2 change to it. I took the second from the top note and flipped it down an octave and took a look at that. And the next thing I did was I said, well, that doesn't always work for me because things are still just going down. So in this section here at the end, I flipped voices back up to the top. So it kind of goes down and then back up again. And as I was listening to it, I realized that I wanted a little breathing space at the end of each measure. And so I just took the old scissors tool and snipped those notes out and made them move in opposite directions just to create a little bit of motion. Now you guys know I'm a frugal guy, so I'm just using Lab's soft piano and one of the Lab's string patches together. Many of these chords have tones in common. B flat major cycles back to D minor very, very nicely. The B major is a surprise. It doesn't feel like it's in the same world, and yet it relaxes. You can make harmonic progressions that still have interest, that capture the ear in the way that conventional chord progressions do, the way conventional tonic dominant chord progressions do, just by kind of leveraging this tiny little rule. Voices like to move down. In chord progressions, voices like to move down. In melodies, voices like to move up. You know this. Am I done yet? Now I'm done. Leading tones, they love to move up. But when you're doing chord voicings, resolutions tend to be falling. Well, I hope this has been useful. You can use it any number of other ways. This is like my particular sort of interest, these types of chord progressions, but there's lots of other sort of solutions, and I encourage you to explore it. Let me know how it works out for you. It's Black History Month, so I've been doing an analysis and sort of breakdown of some of my favorite Duke Ellington songs. I've done a few already, and there's more coming. I'll probably have one for us tomorrow or Monday. In the meantime, I'm posting every day, so like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you'll know when something new pops up. I'll see you next time.